Many of us are lacking love in our lives for a multitude of reasons. And the main reason is a lack of understanding with our own self. And I do see the ways in which this lack of understanding is born of compromised relationships throughout your childhood, throughout your life experience. And the reality for many is that on some level, there has been a disconnect in our ability to have relationships that are not only mutually beneficial, but conducive for growth within a community in a holistic way. And what I mean when I say holistic is in a way that is all encompassing, right? So right now we are highly operating within the digital space. We feel connections to people we've never even met in person. We pursue understanding of people we've never even met in person. We hold ideals, we hold perceptions on lifestyles that are not necessarily accurate representations of that lifestyle in its entirety. So there's a lot of disconnect, there's a lot of filling in the spaces within our own minds. And, that's here nor there. I don't think that I'm not necessarily focusing on the issues that arise from that, but it is to communicate this other aspect, which I have mentioned, which is the holistic experience of community and of being able to understand yourself through relationships that are mutually beneficial and less artificial or more experiential, we'll say. So this is where a lot of this disconnect to ourselves arises, and a lot of pain from within that goes suppress and repress. Because what are we to do in a situation in which the framework is rooted in separation, right? The child gets separated from the parent and goes to school. The relationship, the married couple gets separated in work. Both parties are doing something that doesn't necessarily fill their cup as much as it empties their cup in a way that is completely depleting. There's separation in familial dynamics. There's separation from what one's purpose really is. And so all of this contributes to the ways in which you are conditioning yourself and the ways in which people have conditioned you to be disconnected to yourself and not actually be able to realize the power in connecting with yourself on a deeper level, right? And surely you guys have connected with yourselves on a deeper level. Although that does not negate the reality that there is always going to be levels and layers in which you can actually witness yourself, right? And those of you who have participated in substances like psychedelics or things of this nature, you sense that, you experience that, although that is something that is induced from an external source. And so to be able to empower yourself internally and have that experience from within, as opposed to reaching towards something outside of yourself to have that realization in real time, it's a completely different experience, and the one that will truly integrate itself into your soul and into your being is the one in which you have accessed that awareness, that self-awareness from within. That's not to say that you can't, or that you should, or you shouldn't opt into these other avenues. That is not my business. until you make it my business. And so I'm simply advocating for your ability to have self-governance and to have increased levels of discernment and ability to understand self, to understand yourself, because that's what you're here to do. You're not here to be understood by everybody. Those who understand you will, and they will be in alignment with you. But when you understand yourself, that is what gives you the ability to actually be understood. Because now you have something that you can share with the world with confidence, that you have something that you can articulate to somebody in conversation, and therefore provide value in that particular way, right? Whatever it is that your intention is or aiming for. So something that's really transformative. There's many different avenues, of course, that you can go about deepening your understanding of self. And simple enough, it's actually just sitting with yourself and giving yourself an opportunity to listen to your body. And more often than not, people exist in a very uncomfortable position, consistently, constantly uncomfortable in their own skin and in their own bodies, whether it's back pains, chronic pain, body dysmorphia, a state of worry, overthinking, anxiety, all these different things that you might experience, suppression, all these things make you feel uncomfortable in your own body. So I could sit here and say, you just need to sit with yourself, sit in silence, but it doesn't register as anything significant, because you're already entering into that space with a unwillingness or an avoidance to do that in the first place, and to truly do that, right? Because there's so many different options, there's so many different avenues in which you can sit with yourself in meditation. And one of the most powerful things that I've ever practiced was guided meditations from various different people. And in that experience, I've also experienced the inevitable, which is resistance towards that which I know has worked for me and that which I know is good for me. And the resistance is inevitable because change is inevitable. And so what serves in one moment in your life might change, and that's okay. So you could be resisting an aspect of yourself that is requiring change, is requiring a different experience. But you're so attached to your one way of being that is good for you, right? That's why you're attached to it, because it's worked for you. That you're not even open to the idea of doing it in a different way. So that could be the reason why you're experiencing resistance, or you could be experiencing resistance because going into that place is uncomfortable. Returning back to a place that is healthy for you, or that's going to help you process while going through what you're going through currently, could be uncomfortable, because the intensity of what you're experiencing emotionally, physically, on all the levels, it could just be a chapter, a season where you're not doing your best. So of course you're going to be posed with the challenge of going into that space where you're going to get a clear view of it. So it goes both ways. It's not always rooted in this more negative aspect that I speak of, which would be the avoidance, and it would be the fear or the discomfort. And at times it's also rooted in this other thing, like I said, where you have to try something new. And that's something that I've faced, because I love to do what works for me, and I love the feeling of expansion and clarity that I receive from guided meditations. But it's not that new, honestly, but something that I've shifted into over time was sitting with myself in meditation without any external source of guidance, without any sort of prompting, without any pressure. Because sometimes I put pressure on myself when I experience these meditative states. It puts pressure on me because I know what comes of it. You have to experience it for yourself to really understand the magnitude in which we are able to experience our own power, and also experience just a fraction of the power of the creator of all that has been created. You being the one with conscious awareness. So it's intense, and it can add a little bit of pressure onto you depending on where you're at. For me, that's how I experience it. So these guided meditations are extremely powerful and highly beneficial, especially for certain things. I practiced those primarily when I was in a state of survival, but I can't now operate with those same modalities and those same practices that I utilized in a space where I've expanded beyond scarcity. I've expanded beyond survival. And I've had to learn to adjust to something that is even more expansive and also less rigid for me now. It's not that the experience in of itself is rigid and not as expansive. It's that the current position that I am in now makes me experience that as such, because that is my current position. It's a position where I'm capable of listening in this particular way. For you, it might be highly beneficial to receive a guided meditative experience, or to have a little bit of assistance in navigating that space. That it seems like nothing because, I'm just closing my eyes, no big deal. But that's where you enter into the 0 point field. That is the creation point in which all things are possible. Where you can tap into universal consciousness. You've been conditioned to think closing your eyes is just some whatever thing. That is why I'm constantly expressing the magnitude of what it is to actually enter into a state of rest. It is an exceptional experience if you treat it as such and if you care for it as such. Not to get sidetracked down that path too much. But the main message that I'm sharing with you right now is that you can simply sit with yourself in silence, somewhere where you can hear the sounds of nature, or even if you want the support from certain frequencies. I'm going to put the link in the description to some of my favorite frequencies that I like to listen to when I sit with myself. And just allow yourself to listen and to surrender to the experience of being with yourself in that way. And in that, you very well may become open and receptive to something that you needed to know about yourself. Something that you were not sensing because you were so preoccupied with all of these externalities.
Be here with you.
And you will feel energy in certain parts of your body when you tap into it in real time. And in those places where you feel a shift, maybe it's discomfort, maybe it's like tingling sensations, maybe it's a awareness, like a conscious awareness of something that's your deeper mind is communicating to you about where you're at, about how you relate to a particular situation. So this is processing. This is allowing yourself the time and space to process. Another thing is getting it on paper, because this is more present moment experience. experiencing. You're listening in real time without engaging with anything else, right? But when you're journaling, it kind of channels the energy that you're experiencing from within in a different way. And you can choose whatever it is that you want to talk about. Removing the pressure, releasing this tendency to be rigid and to hold your breath. That's the best way I could describe it. It's like you're holding your breath, expecting to feel at ease. You've been holding your breath for 15 minutes, thinking that you're alive and well. So, journaling, this is a fantastic practice. Not to get something out of life, not to, achieve that goal and to auto-suggest yourself on paper into the state of being that you want to be in, but you're already in, and all this stuff. These are great practices. These are wonderful things that you can do for yourself. But it's just to allow yourself to speak in a real way. It's like, what would you say to somebody that you trust with your whole heart, and you know that they wouldn't want you to be anything other than what you are right now? Of course, they could want the best for you, just in the same way that you would want the best for you. It's almost like you're speaking to a part of yourself that can hold you in a way that nobody can. And you're safe to speak your mind as openly and as freely as possible. Whatever it is, and it just comes through. This is a great practice, and I have a particular journal that I utilize for speaking gratitude and for appreciation.
I don't want you to get hurt.
And all the manifold reasons why I appreciate just one thing or many things. But then I have a different journal that I utilize for processing things that are more emotional, or when I get into a mode where like something's up and I don't know what's up, and I'm just like, what gives? What is this? Like stagnancy within my flow of emotions, right? Stagnation doesn't have to look like, you're not moving or you're bed rotting or doom scrolling. It usually manifests as that, but often the stagnation comes from a blockage in your ability to process what you're feeling necessarily. Like you need to process it, but you're not. Right? So journaling, understanding yourself, this act of taking the time to understand yourself is so powerful because it allows you to expand your vision. It allows you to gain clarity on what you want, the clarity that you actually need to achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve. And aside from that, the purpose isn't to just achieve something. It's to allow yourself to embody yourself in a beautiful and authentic way, in a way that is in alignment with cellular healing, biological relaxation. It shifts the dynamic from it being about a power struggle or force into one that is of presence and gratitude and natural observation and appreciation, shifting from the conditioning that many of us are all aware of and likely still experiencing into something that is more wholesome and conducive to your wellness, and therefore more conducive for the environment around you. Because again, there's not actually a separation from you and your life experience. Those moments that you take time to tap in with yourself on that level, that's where you're going to be able to relate to the environment that you are one with appropriately, not in a way that other people are attempting to coerce you into believing about you. You should not be subject to the opinions of others. in such a way where it controls you and your belief in yourself. Your belief in yourself should be rooted in your relationship to yourself and the way that you treat yourself and the way that you treat your life, which is yourself. So these are all incredibly transformative things that you can do. Sitting with yourself, breathing, and just listening to you. Taking the time to write down how you're feeling on a daily basis.
But Rumi likes the fruit too, right?
With the motivation or with the intention being to be there for yourself in this way, to be intimate with yourself. When we lack intimacy with ourselves, we often are reflected with reasons why we lose faith in humanity. Your ability to be intimate with yourself is going to be reflected to you by people who are more in alignment with your frequency, or it's going to allow you to be more in alignment with yourself so as to respectfully reject people, places, things that are not in alignment with you, as opposed to inviting things in that you don't resonate with, nor is there any future in that. And I say there's no future in that because you don't want that and you don't like it, and there's no part of you that does. It's called authenticity. That's what people call it. Call it what you will. You deserve to know thyself enough to experience yourself in an authentic way, and not only this, so that others may also experience you authentically and learn what they need to learn through your reflection. So I appreciate you guys for being here. As always, subscribe if you're new here. If you made it this far, I might add a little sauce into this video. So
I ain't fake.
Keep going. He ain't faking, he just shaking. He's just shaking the can for some bacon.
Skateboarding is a free sport, very free. You can't come to support this. Oh my God.
I don't live in fear. I just drop my layers like all these tears throughout the years. Like I drop my pants when I get home and I do a little dance. It's the truth. It feels like I'm chilling in the booth all day. It feels like I'm spitting in the couth. So play all day. I don't gotta say too much. Play all day.
I notice how you don't shave.
Hmm?
I notice.
I don't.
Is there a reason?
There's many reasons.
What's up?
One of the reasons is that it's kind of wasteful to like buy razors. I try to go no, like I'm doing like a progressive no waste, zero waste living. So trying my best not to consume like any kind of thing that is not natural. So that would include these razors, which are very
I mean, that's just your body.
yeah, but that's just one reason.
It doesn't change who you are as a being. It won't change who you are as a being.
What
Either way.
with the hair?
With hair or no? With hair or no hair?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel that. It just matters to me. It's like I literally feel guilt when I like participate in certain things, you know. Sifting through the sand, chilling on a limb. You don't understand. I've been sifting through
choose wisely. Gotta find me. Find we. Leave the problems at the door, explore everywhere you wanna go, everything you gotta show, and many things you gotta know not. Just knots in my socks. Bitches can kick rocks. When I say bitches, I mean people who use stitches. You ain't kidding, are you? Every single thing is closed, but this place is open. And I'm quite delighted. That is that. Oh.